Sue, welcome back to my channel So Little Time, and my name is Karen. So I hope you're all doing really well, and thank you very much for joining me today. Today's video is going to be more of a chatty style video, which I'm including a bit of life, sewing, crochet, a sewing challenge, and also a new business venture. So I hope you do stick around and listen to what I've got to say. I have been meaning actually to bring this video to you for quite a while. I've just had a number of subjects that I've wanted to talk to you about throughout the year, but I've just not got around to doing it, and I've got a little bit of time today, so I thought I would sit down and finally talk to you about these things. I have written a list. I'm just going to go through them in no particular order, so I will be looking down at my notes because I am quite forgetful these days. Yeah, so the first thing then that I will talk to you about is the sewing challenge, and this is being ran by Renata from the Twilight Stitcher and also co-hosted by Talisha from Creativity by T, and it is the Little Red Dress Project. So I'm pretty sure that you would have heard of this before, as it has been running since the year 2016. To be honest, I've never taken part in it myself, but I have been honoured to have been asked to be an ambassador for this challenge this year. So I'm definitely taking part, and I hope to give you some inspiration for it as well. It's running from the 24th of November through to the 24th of December. And there are some prizes involved as well. So there have been some sponsors who have donated prizes for this challenge. So yeah, please do get involved if you would like to. Now, the Little Red Dress Project was always about making a red dress for the festive period. However, they have decided to open it up to other styles of garments. So not necessarily just a dress, you know. So the options that you can make are, I've written it down here, you can sew a dress, a blouse, trousers, a jumpsuit, or a skirt, you know, so, or even a blazer, basically. So anything that's made out of red fabric. Now, it needs to be about 90% red, I believe, and there are lots of different variations of red, so, you know, different styles of colours of red, so it doesn't have to be you sort of bright red or Christmas red, you know, you can go for different colours. You can even have a darker tone of pink that leads onto the more sort of red side of the colour palette. Yeah, so if you want to be included in the prize draw, which is going to be sort of chosen at random, you need to actually have sent a photo of your finished garment through to Renata at the Twilight Stitcher on her Instagram. So you need to send that by direct message to her. It just makes things a lot easier for her to sift through all of the entries, because if you just use the hashtag, which is the Little Red Dress Project 22, sometimes your sort of post can get lost because a lot of people do end up using the hashtag for other things as well. So it is just a lot of work to go through. And as you know, I've just recently ran a challenge, the Sew Up Cycle Challenge with Becky from Notes from the Sewing Room. And yeah, people had used the hashtag Sew Up Cycle 22, not just on their reveals. It was included in their whips and everything. So it was quite a lengthy process to go through all of the entries. So I do think that's quite a good idea actually to have the entries direct messaged to Renata, so she doesn't have such a big job, especially as this challenge has been running since 2016, so there probably will be quite a lot of entrants. Yeah, so the other ambassadors who are involved in this challenge, I will list them all in the description box below for you, so you can go and check them out if you're not already following them. And both Renata and Talisha have uploaded an introduction vlog all about this challenge, so you can go and have a look at that, and it will tell you all of the details that you need to know about this challenge and all the rules and things. So yeah, I'm really excited to be part of it. Now, I have decided to use fabric that I've already got, so I don't actually have any fabric that is just 100% red. The only fabric that I've got with red in it does have a lot of other colours in it, so I didn't feel that they would work, as they're not really going to be eligible. However, I have found some fabric in my stash that I think would be suitable, and I feel it is fairly Christmassy. So I'm going to show you what I've got here, and it's this lovely gingham fabric, which was from Felicity Fabrics. I think I bought this about 2 years ago now, so whether they've got this in stock anymore, I don't know. I don't think so. I've got 2 meters of this, and I think I would like to make the Tilly and the Buttons indigo dress. Now, I know that's quite a sort of standard dress, it's not overly festive and stuff, but I think with it being this colour, you can wear it at any time of year, and I think I would really like to make that dress and wear it on Christmas Day. So for me, it is going to be quite festive. And I mean, I don't really know if this is classed as 90%, but it is red and white, which is very Christmassy. So I'm hoping that this will work in that pattern. I'll put a photo of the pattern here. I'm pretty sure that you all know what the indigo dress looks like. And I have made it in the past as well. And I'll insert a photo of me wearing it. I think I've got a photo of me wearing it. Yeah, and I absolutely love it. Now, I've only made it that once. I did cut it out again to make it another time, but I actually didn't end up finishing it. It's in my whip pile still. But this fabric is a cotton fabric. It's, I think it's 100% cotton, but it's not really stiff. It's not like a crafting cotton. So it's definitely sort of your more dressmaking cotton. And I think it will work really, really well for that dress actually, because I think if I want to add the extra details with regards to like the frill around the waistline seam and also the flanked sleeves, I think that's the version I would like to do, or I may just do straight sleeves, but I definitely want to do that exposed sort of frill around the waistline. I really do think that's a really pretty detail. So that's my idea for my project. But there are so many gorgeous fabrics out there that you can get in different shades of red. You know, you can use velour, velvet, satin, silk, yeah, various different ones. And I think if you look on the Minerva website, for instance, there are so many different red fabrics on there. You'd be spoiled for choice. So yeah, I really do hope that you would like to take part. And if you tag also both Talisha and Renata on your, if you upload them onto your Instagram grid, then they will share those, I think, on their stories and things like that as well. So yeah, definitely worth doing that. But that's the project then, or the challenge then that I wanted to talk to you about. So yeah, I hope you do take part. I'm quite excited to get that dress made up actually. I've had that fabric for, like I say, a couple of years, and I didn't really have a project in mind for it, but I think it's just going to be perfect for that. Yeah, and I'll be excited to wear that on Christmas Day. Oh, one thing I did forget to say, the reveal. You can do that week commencing the 19th of December, so it's not on a specific date as such, but it does need to be done by midnight on the 24th of December. So send your photo through by direct message to Renata at the Twilight Stitcher on Instagram. Right, something quite exciting. So I have been sent an early Christmas present from Anna from You Got Me in Stitches, and this is part of her new business venture. So she has kindly sent me this package in the post for me to open live on camera for you, and she has set up a new business venture called Pattern Pouch Nest. I do believe I've got that right, yes, just double checking. And she has been working behind the scenes to get this up and running over the past couple of years. And I think she's done a marvellous job. So she is selling some fabric, she is selling some handmade gifts, which you can buy for yourself or other people. She is predominantly selling these pattern pouches that she is hand making herself, and she also uses thrifted fabric. So everything is sort of sustainable, and she has sent me this in this lovely packaging as well, which is also very sustainable because it is all recyclable. Obviously, apart from this little flower, which it can be reused. So I'm going to open this live on camera so you can see what you get. So basically you buy a pattern of your choice from her website, and it gets put into this lovely handmade pouch, and then there are some different sort of sewing notions included in that. So, and I think you get some fat quarters as well. So it's not necessarily specific to the pattern that you've chosen, but it's just sort of some extra goodies that you get within the pouch itself. So do take a look at her website. I will link it in the description box below for you. Yeah, and I'm excited to see what's going to be inside this. So I have chosen my pattern, and then she's obviously sent me some bits and bobs to go with it, and it will be inside the lovely pattern pouch that she will have made. So I'm going to open this now for you. I might have to get the scissors, bear with me. Right, okay, I'm going to open it up. So I'm going to cut the twine. I have no nails at the minute because my hands are so from the cold weather that they just keep breaking. So I'm gonna rustle, sorry. Lovely, look at this. Right, let me just move the packaging out of the way. So this is how it comes. Absolutely gorgeous fabric, Anna. That's really lovely. I love that, so colourful. So she has handmade this pouch, and look at this lovely lining on the inside. Excuse me. And so she's actually put on it a sort of brown little tag here, again, which is recyclable, and it just tells you how to launder this. So both the lining and outer are 100% cotton, spot clean or hand wash. And if you're machine laundering, please wash with light colours on 30 degrees, which I tend to wash all my fabrics and things on 30 degrees as well. And I use a colour, washing powder, just because I find that doesn't have any bleach in it, so that it keeps the colours longer. So I'm just going to open this twine now to get into the package itself. Oh, there is another label on it. I didn't notice that there. So to Karen, thank you millions. I hope you enjoy your pouch and contents. Look forward to seeing your dress made up. So I've given you a hint as to what pattern I've chosen. It's a dress pattern. So I'm going to open up inside this pouch now. So it's got an elasticated section here as well, which is great. So I'm going to go in and show you the dress pattern first that I chose. And the pattern I've chosen is so different, and it is the artista dress. Really, really like this pattern. I have had my eye on it for a while, actually. It's a really nice sort of simple design, but really quite effective as well in its style. So it's got these lovely pockets sort of on the inside of the garment here, within these seam lines. So I don't know if it's like a pouch, whether that joins, I'm not really sure. And then it's got this skirt panel, and then sleeves, and quite a high sort of rolled over collar. Now you use woven fabrics to make this, so I think you could really make this a statement dress. On the reverse, it's got this lady here, she's done it in stripy fabric, and she's done it in different sort of ways the stripes go in the direction. And then on the back, it's got a couple of darts, I think, or like a pleat there. Yeah, so I'm really pleased with this pattern, and I'm really excited to try this out, actually. I just think it's going to be something that's really nice to wear sort of autumn time. Compare that up with tights and boots, and put a big scarf on. I think that's going to be lovely, and a nice jacket to go over the top. Now, I did make the So Different long line jacket a little while ago, which you would have seen. So that would go over this quite nicely, depending on what fabric I use. But I would like to make that jacket again in a plain fabric. Right, so next inside we have, I'm just going to put my hand in and just randomly pull things out. Boop. So I've got a fat quarter of fabric there, which is in a jungle theme, I do believe. That's really nice. Yeah, so it's got some, I'm going to say cheetahs, but they might be leopards on there. Absolutely love that. It's lovely. Thank you, Anna. And then what else have we got? Oh, I think there's a zip. So yeah, an invisible zip, I believe. Is that invisible? Maybe not. I think it might be normal zip, but yeah, perfect for my dressmaking. So that looks like it might be about a 20-inch zip, or 22-inch maybe. I've got some thread, so some Gutermann thread there. Just a white creamy kind of colour. Oh, not sure what this is. I'm going to open it up. Oh, I do actually. I think this might be bunting. That's lovely. I love bunting. So here's the bunting. That's beautiful. Oh, that's lovely. I really like that. Thank you, Anna. So it's got some sewing machine sort of sewing style fabric, and then just some plain blue. And then on the back, it's just blue on the other side. But yeah, that's going to go up somewhere, probably in my bedroom somewhere. So thank you so much. Let's see. I think there's another thing in here. I can't reach. Oh, so I've got some ballpoint machine needles in a regular assortment. So there's different sort of sizes of ballpoint needles. Ballpoint needles are used for like jersey and stretch fabrics. So that's great, always handy to have. Then I've got some hooks and eyes in there, so they're always useful to have. Thank you. I think that's everything out of the bag now. Yeah, so that's great. So that is basically what you would sort of receive. However, notions and fabrics and things like that will change all the time. So the main thing is that you choose your pattern, and then everything else is just a big surprise, really. So yeah, do check out Anna's new venture. Like I say, she isn't just selling these, but she's selling fabrics and also some gift type things that she's handmade herself. And also, if you're interested in having a little surprise every day throughout the month of December, she has done an advent calendar as well. So everything will be linked down below for you to go and check that out. But thank you so much, Anna, for sending me my early Christmas present. I absolutely love it. I'm really excited to get on with sewing this dress up. Whether I'll do that this year though, I don't know, because I know that I just set myself up for a fail if I end up giving myself too much to sew. Right, so next then I'll go on to some crochet things. So if you were watching last year, I did some more chatty style videos last year where I was sort of showing you things that I was making during the week, a little bit like Friday Sews, but I think I changed the name to something else, a bit of a mouthful if I recall, whatever it was I called it. And I was sharing quite a lot of things that I was making, and you'll probably remember this, but I was making a jumper called the Granny Go Round jumper, which is by Iron Lamb, and I'll link that pattern in the description box below for you. She has an Etsy shop, I believe, and has a number of crochet patterns available, and there are some really lovely garments actually for the patterns that you can make. Now, I made the Granny Go Round jumper, and I looked back at when I started making this, and can you believe it was like, I think a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years. Yeah, quite a while. And I have finished it. However, I haven't finished the neckline on it properly, and I'm still debating with myself as to whether what I'm going to do about it. So basically, the Granny Go Round jumper is made out of the granny stitch, which is basically a cluster of trebles in UK terms. And as you can see here, I have got this piece of thread just hanging there, which I either need to weave in or I need to decide what I'm going to do about the neckline, because the neckline is not supposed to be just like that. And as you can see, I have got a bit of makeup on it, which is a bit annoying, but I made the neckline too tight. I should have, when I did my chain of stitches, I should have done those a lot looser, and it is supposed to have a neckband on it where you pick up the stitches and put the neckband on. So I'm in two minds as to whether I should still be able to do that, because when I put this on, it is still fairly low. I can get it over my head, but I need to do it really before I have any makeup on or have done my hair. I'm pretty pleased with how the actual sweater or jumper itself has turned out. So I'll hold it up, and as you can see, I've done it in majority of this blue colour, and this is just double knit wool. And then I've just added some coloured stripes, really, just to give it a pop of colour. I feel like I should have done those slightly higher up than where they sit on me, and I really do like the style of this jumper, and I like the sleeves as well, because it's got a little cuff at the bottom where you just do sort of a ribbing stitch, and I do wish that I'd have done that slightly longer, because it only just comes down to the bottom of my wrist, and when I'm moving around it just creep up a little bit, so I just tend to pull it down. And I also think that I should have done this one size up from what I have done. I think I've made the size small, and I should have gone for the medium. Yeah, it's just, the sleeves are quite baggy on me, and then the jumper itself in the body is quite streamlined. It's not snug to the point that it's not wearable, but it definitely needed to have been baggier than it is. I definitely should have gone up one size. I do like it, like I say, overall. I love the colours and things like that. So I'm just debating on whether to do that neckline. I think you just do a little bit of ribbing like this again around the neckline. So it is going to be stretchy, but I just don't want it to sit really high and I feel like I'm choking. So I don't know. I mean, I might give it a go, and then I suppose if I don't like it, I can just unpick it off, you know, because it is quite easy to undo crochet as long as you don't finish off the end of it. So if I leave like a load of wool attached to it, I can try it on and see how I feel about it. I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, so like I say, I do like it. It's just that I wish I'd maybe gone up one size. Although the sleeves, I wouldn't want those any baggier than what they actually already are. I will see if I can get a photo of me in this, and then I can insert a photo so you can see the fit on me and let me know what you think. But the picture of the pattern itself is definitely baggier on me. And I did lengthen it as well, but I feel like I should have lengthened it a little bit more with the sort of style that it is on me, the fit that it is. Because it is slightly tighter on me, I think I should have lengthened it just that little bit more. Yeah, so anyway, I'm glad I've near enough got it finished. It was my first ever crochet garment, so in hindsight, I am really pleased with how it has gone. I did enjoy doing it in fits and starts throughout the last year or so. I think I started it one Christmas time or just after Christmas, So yeah, it is about 2 years because we are obviously heading up to Christmas now. So it's just been nice to pick up as and when, really. So that's the good thing, isn't it, about crochet? You can just pick it up and put it down, same as knitting, really. But I do prefer crochet over knitting these days, as I find it just grows quicker and it's just quicker. The other crochet thing that I made, which I did share on Instagram, is this little Peter Rabbit. And I think I'd seen this somewhere, this pattern, and I wasn't sure how to get hold of it because I know that it had been included in a crochet magazine. But luckily, my husband's cousin, who lives in New Zealand, she had got the pattern and kindly emailed it over to me. So I had a go at doing it. Now, the thing I found about this was that I had to just use wool that I'd already got because I didn't want to buy the wool that they'd recommended because A, it was really, really expensive for what I needed. And I just wanted to have a little practice go at it at first. So I'm really pleased with how he has turned out. Really like the back of the head, the way that, where you've done like the decreases, it shows that little star shape. I think that's really nice. It is quite a scratchy wool that I've used, so I do think it's going to bobble if the boys get hold of it. And then I made this little cardigan, or his little blue jacket, and I just used double knit wool for that, which is a lot nicer than this wool. I think this wool came free with a magazine, or maybe my mum gave it to me. I can't remember now. Yeah, and he's got a little pom-pom tail there, which the boys have got hold of him and have pulled it slightly, so I need to just sort of go back in and stitch that back into place because it does help him sit down, that tail. But yeah, I really liked his little cardigan, but that took me 3 attempts to do that. It was really quite tricky. There were some stitches, I think, that I hadn't done before with regards to like where you have to pick up the stitches and attach the sleeves. So that wasn't all done in one. You had to kind of pick it up, and I've not done that before. So I practiced it on some other wool that I'd already got. Then I made it again, and it's just, I wasn't happy with it because I'm quite a perfectionist. And then I managed to get it on the 3rd go. Now it should have some little yellow buttons down here, which I think you can buy those tiny, tiny little yellow buttons, which I'm thinking of getting and sewing them on, or I might just do either French knots in yellow embroidery thread, or I might just glue some yellow felt dots on. Yeah, so I'll see about that, but I'm really pleased with how he turned out because I think he does look quite Peter Rabbity, but he's been sat on my bedside table next to me, and I'm gonna sort out that tail. I really liked the legs. I think you just stuff the bottom part of it, and then this bit is sort of hollow, and you just stitch those on, and then again the ears, you just stitch those on at the top as well, and I just use these safety eyes that I've got. Yeah, so I'm really pleased with him. So he is a lot lighter than what the actual pattern design looks like. But yeah, I really liked him. So I haven't let any of the boys have him at the minute because I wanted to show you to him before he got too fluffed up. Because in the past, when I've made them some crochet teddy bears and things like that, they have now like near enough wrecked them. Because they've just, I don't know, crochet toys, they just don't seem to be, I don't know, like aren't designed to last. Whether it's the type of wool that I've used. My sewing of the body parts is all intact. That's absolutely fine. They just look a bit worse for wear, I think. Yeah, so anyway, I'm really pleased with him. I hope you like him too. And I would like to do some of the other characters as well. But again, trying to find the patterns is quite difficult. So off the back of speaking about Peter Rabbit then, I'm going to talk to you about a trip to Gloucester. So I went to Gloucester back in the end of the summer, I think it was, and Gloucester is my hometown, it's where I'm from. I moved up in 1995 to Leicester, so I just left school, and my dad's job got transferred up to Leicester, which is why we are here, and at the time it was a really difficult time moving up to Leicester at the age of 16. I'd just left school, so yeah, really impressionable age, but I actually went straight into a job in the end here when I moved up to Leicester, and kept in contact with all my friends in Gloucester and just went back as much as possible. Back in the day when I first started driving, as soon as I got my driving licence, I was going back to and fro from Gloucester every weekend to go out with my friends, and I did that for quite a number of years until I got settled here in Leicester. But yeah, I've kept in contact with all my friends down there, and I decided to go down, I think it was one day during the week in the summer holidays, so the boys were off, and I'd promised them that I was going to show them the houses and the areas where I'd lived in Gloucester, because we always go back to Birmingham to see Simon's family. His parents are still living in his family home, you know, where he grew up. Whereas my mum and dad have moved around quite a lot, really. So yeah, I said I would take them down to Gloucester to show them where I grew up, where I went to school, you know, where I used to play, and the houses that I lived in, because we had 3 in the area that we lived in Gloucester. So yeah, we went down and I organised to meet up with one of my old school friends who I grew up with and who I used to live on the same street. So that was really nice. So I'm going to insert some photos and perhaps a little bit of video footage, I can't remember if I took any now, of my time down there. And whilst we were there, we visited the Beatrix Potter shop, which is just quite close to Gloucester Cathedral. It's just down a little sort of side street, and it's a beautiful shop. It's been there for years, and my boys absolutely love Beatrix Potter and Peter Rabbit, and they've got the 2 movies on DVD. Harry absolutely loves Peter Rabbit. He has got a Peter Rabbit teddy that he had when he was about 6 months old. It's about falling apart now, but I washed it the other day as well, and he was not happy that I'd washed it. But you know, he said, oh, his soft ear, because he used to rub it when he was young, and it's got like a little soft ear. It's just really soft from where he's rubbed it. But yeah, he absolutely loves it. So we took the boys there, and it was really, really lovely. I mean, it was a really hot day, and it was such a little shop, and we were absolutely roasting whilst we were inside, but it was so nice going there and showing them all of the sort of memorabilia that was there over the years. And also you could buy obviously lots and lots of souvenirs from there as well. And then in the upstairs room, there's like a bit where it shows you all of the old memorabilia, so things that are in glass cabinets from years ago. And then there was this thing where you could put the money in, and then all the mice started working, and the boys absolutely loved that. So that was really a nice little visit in there. And I bought a couple of bits from there. So I bought this little tray, which is the Peter Rabbit, no, it's not, it's Old Mother Rabbit with the three other ones. I can't remember their names. Yeah, so I've got that, and I just leave my earrings on there. I take my earrings out when I go to bed and things like that, so I just put a few little trinkets in there. Then I picked up this little tin, because I do love a tin, and this has got Peter Rabbit on there, and inside are some mints. So I have been working my way through those. I've only got a few left now, so in the bottom there. Ooh. Yeah, so I just really like that, because I thought once I've got all the mints out of there, I'm going to use that for putting some sewing bits in, maybe some pins or something like that. But I just really like that. And then the boys each bought a badge, I think. Well, actually, no, I tell a lie. James and Harry had a badge each, but then Thomas was having a right grump because he wanted something else and it was too expensive, so I said no. And so he, you know, cuts his nose off to spite his face sometimes, and said, well, I don't want a badge then, so he went without. And now, it was only recently, he said, oh, I want a badge. And I said, well, you had the opportunity to have a badge from the Peter Rabbit shop, but no, you didn't bother, you know. Anyway, after that, we went into Gloucester Cathedral, and I hadn't been in there for a number of years. It's so beautiful, and it's where some of the filming for Harry Potter was done as well. Yeah, it's just so lovely in there. We had a good walk around and a look round, and it was just really, really beautiful. And then they got a little gift shop in there as well. So we went and visited the gift shop. I think the boys got a bookmark each, and then I picked up a couple of trinket things. So these are really cute. I just couldn't resist them, and they are fair trade. So they're handcrafted by artisans in Kashmir under recognised fair trade conditions. So this one I haven't got anything in yet, but it's this beautiful cat there. So it's just black on the inside. Now, when I first bought these, the smell of that black stuff absolutely stank. It has calmed down since it's been in the house, thank goodness, because it did make me feel a little bit sick. So I don't know what paint it is, but it was very, very smelly paint. And I've just kept the little ticket in there. So I haven't got anything in there as yet. You know, it's quite small. So again, you could probably put a bit of jewellery in there or some small bits for sewing. I just really, really liked it. And then I got two others as well. And this one is this beautiful bird. Love the colours of that one. And then in this one, I've just got some very small safety pins. Oh, one's fell out. Yeah, just some very small safety pins in there. Just really like them. I thought they were just very pretty to have on the side. And then I bought this little round one. So they're all made by the same people, and I've just got a little bag in there where I keep my Pandora charms in there, because I do tend to swap my Pandora charms around. My auntie bought me the Pandora bracelet last year for Christmas. I absolutely love it. So I've been mixing and matching my charms that I've currently got and just pop them in there. So those were the bits that I bought, but I had an absolutely lovely weekend catching up with my friend John. Also caught up with my best friend Mel as well, and we went out for drinks and food on the evening because she was working, because I went down on a weekday. She couldn't take the day off work, but John managed to get, because he works from home, he managed to take his dinner hour off, and we went for a picnic on the hills, as we used to call it, which was down the road from where I used to live, and we used to roll down the hills. But when you go there as an adult, it's not hills. It's like little mountains. It's tiny, but we sat there and had a picnic. But then it started to rain as soon as we turned up, so we were sat there having our picnic in the rain. It was just unbelievable, but the boys loved it. And they were still rolling around in the wet, as you know. And my mum and dad came down at the same time, actually, which was really handy, because obviously I went out for drinks and a meal with my friend Mel, and we stayed in a hotel because we usually stay at my auntie's house, but she was away. So we stayed in a Premier Inn, I think it was, in Gloucester, which was near the docks. So that was quite nice. So mum and dad had the boys for the evening and had a meal with them whilst I went out with my friend Mel. So that was really nice to have my babysitters on hand. Yeah, because that's sometimes the only way I can get it to work, to go down to Gloucester, is if my mum and dad come with me. And if I want to go out on my own, I need my chaperones with me, you know, my babysitters, as it were. Yeah, so that was really nice. But it was a really nice weekend. Weekend, it was a weekday, you know, a couple of days we spent down there, so that was really nice. So I just thought I'd share that with you, because it was really nice to go back and visit my village where I used to live, because although I have been going back to Gloucester to visit family, I hadn't been back to the village where I used to live, which is called Quedgley, for I can't even remember how many years ago it's been now since I last went back. And you know, it always looks so different, doesn't it, when you go back as an adult? So much smaller than as you remember. So we walked around and went to all of the houses. There was 3 houses that I lived in Quedgley. Walked past my old schools, which have completely changed, aren't recognisable really to how it was when I used to go there. Yeah, but that was really nice. So I just thought I'd share that with you, really. I just thought it was, if you've not been to Gloucester town itself, I have to say, has really run down over the years. Obviously, a lot of businesses have closed, so the shops are just, a lot of them are vacant. But the surrounding areas of Gloucester itself is really lovely, and you know, the docks are really nice to go around, the boating area, and also obviously Gloucester Cathedral. And then, like I say, you've got that lovely Beatrix Potter shop, which I just think is really nice. I really do hope that continues to trade in these hard times. Anyway, moving on, I'm going to touch on a subject that is really quite sad. I really did want to talk to you about this. I feel it's necessary to tell you all about it, because last year, like I say, when I was doing my more chatty style vlogs, that you would have heard all about my rabbits. So we got 2 rabbits last year, and it was quite the escapade in getting them. And if you were watching me, that you would have heard, you know, the hassle that we had with getting them neutered or spayed, and then they obviously started fighting because they're 2 male rabbits. We were wrongly told that 2 male rabbits were good to have together, and to be fair, we should have done a lot more research than we did in seeing what a suitable pairing was. And we went to a breeder, and you kind of trust what the breeder tells you. And the reason we went to a breeder was because we wanted 2 baby rabbits, mini lop ones, because we'd heard that they were the best for children. They don't mind being handled, and they're quite placid, you know, because rabbits can be quite vicious. So yeah, we ended up getting 2 mini lop rabbits, and they were absolutely beautiful. And you will see that I've used the past tense there, and some of you will know that we have lost both of our rabbits recently this year, which was really just, you know, we just didn't know it was going to happen, and they were only 1.5 years old. It was just absolutely devastating. And my husband had built this amazing hutch, and he'd built a second run. Obviously, after they started fighting, we had to split them up. But all we did was put in the hutch a division between the 2 of them, which was a big wire thing. So they could see each other, they could smell each other, they could touch each other even. And they used to sit side by side with each other. So even though they fought so badly when they were out, if you have them in the hutch together, they still like to sit next to each other and enjoy each other's company that way. They just didn't like being together. I think they were both trying to be the dominant one, and rabbits will fight to the death if you let them. So we did try to have them sort of rebonded after we finally got them neutered and things like that, but it just never worked. So we did on occasion have them supervised together on the lawn outside in the garden. and they'd be okay for a little while, but then they'd start annoying each other, and then they'd start fighting. So that was it. We had to split them up, put one of them away, or put both of them away. So they each had a section of the hutch themselves, and then they each had a separate run, and it was working. And it was just going really well, considering how much hassle we had at the very beginning. We just managed then to get things to work for us. So every day I would obviously go out there, feed them, clean them, let them out because they'd have the run of the garden, because we blocked off every single exit out of the garden so they couldn't get out. And to be fair, our garden is fairly large, one of the reasons that we bought our house, and there's enough room for them to frolic about and things like that. So they used to really enjoy that, and I always used to know where they were because they both had their obvious hiding places where we would go and find them and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a really sad morning. I think it was the week before the dressmakers ball, and Harry had come up to me and told me that Radar had passed away. Now Radar we called him Radar because he had a sticky up ear. One of his ears hadn't lopped. And we do think that he was perhaps the runt of the litter because he had a respiratory problem. Now, this was half of the reason why we couldn't get them neutered, because he was sneezing. And in the end, we had to have him on some medication. I think it was antibiotics to try and clear up this sneezing thing, but it never did anything. And we had butter on it as well, just as a precautionary measure, but he was absolutely fine. And he was always the stronger rabbit out of the two. He was a lot bigger. I even questioned if they were brothers as well. So yeah, basically, he passed away unexpectedly one morning, well, obviously during the night, and Harry came up and told me, and I was really, really shocked. And we kind of knew that he perhaps wouldn't have the longest lifespan because of his respiratory problem. He was always sneezing, and if he exerted himself a lot in the garden, he'd always have to go and have a little bit of a rest, and stuff like that. But we thought if anything was going to kill him, it was going to be the winter, and he wouldn't survive the winter. He got through last winter absolutely fine when we had our snow and all that kind of stuff. So, and they do get thick coats, don't they? But yeah, he died, and it was just devastating, really, because obviously we'd only had them both a year and a half. And it was a shock because it wasn't expected. It was only literally the day before Simon had said to me, Radar hasn't really come out for his run today, because we leave the door open for him, obviously not when we're not here, but when we were here. And I said, oh yeah, he's not actually, but I just didn't think anything of it. Because some days they were just lazy, like they were just tired. I don't know if they exert themselves at night because they were more nighttime animals. So yeah, just didn't really think anything of it. And there was no signs prior to that because he used to always come running down the path for his little bit of carrot. He was such a character. So he is really sorely missed by us all. And actually I was more affected by it than I thought I was going to. I had to go and tell the twins' teacher that they might be upset whilst at school because we've lost our rabbit. I just burst into tears, and that was it. I couldn't stop for ages. Simon sent me on an errand. He was off that day, which was, in hindsight, quite lucky that he was off to deal with it. And he sent me off on an errand to, I had to go to Screwfix or something to pick something up, and I couldn't stop crying. Luckily it was a sunny day, so I just put my sunglasses on. But when I went to the desk, I didn't take my sunglasses off when I went to pay because I was just like, I was just in bits. Came back and threw my arms around Simon and said, I feel so sad, and I was like, my heart is hurting. And he said, well, it was such a shock, and also when you lose a pet, you forget how hard it is. And we'd only had them a year and a half, but we'd really grown to love them both because they were both such characters. So yeah, we buried Radar in a place in the garden where we just actually had a new tree installed. So yeah, we did that, and the boys wanted to do it. And I have to say that Harry was just unbelievable. He was so good. Obviously Radar had passed away during the night and rigor mortis had set in, but he was picking him up, giving him a cuddle, stroking him. And initially I was a bit like, but I just thought, no, actually that was really nice because Radar would have loved that. And I found it difficult. I did stroke him, but I wouldn't have been able to have picked him up. It's just something I couldn't do. So yeah, he was really, really good. And then Butter was absolutely fine, right? So we were like, he's going to obviously be gutted that he's lost his mate. But then when I think after we buried him, like we put some flowers on his grave area, and we found it quite funny because the next day Butter came along and ate them, right? But I mean, it was flowers that they'd eaten before as well, so that wasn't anything to do with what had killed them. So we still don't really know to this day what it was. Anyway, Butter, he was fine. So Radar passed away Thursday morning. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Butter was absolutely fine. The Monday, I just noticed he was a little bit more subdued. And I said to Simon when he came home from work, I said, Butter doesn't seem himself today. He's not been out for his run. He's very quiet and he's not really eaten any of his food. And Butter, he wasn't one for having a carrot or anything like that. He just liked the bran stuff that we used to buy. He just used to wolf it down all the time. He was quite a big rabbit as well. And so Simon said, well, just keep an eye on him. He might just be feeling really sad that obviously Radar's passed away, because rabbits can go into a depression when they lose their mate. So I was keeping an eye on him and just giving him lots of fuss, trying to give him a few treat bits, but he just wasn't really interested. So Tuesday was the same thing. And so I said to Simon, I'm a little bit worried about him. We need to get him a mate really as soon as possible. But getting a mate it's just not as easy as going to a pet shop and just buying a rabbit. You need to find one that's going to be able to bond with them. It's not as easy as you think. So in the end, Wednesday morning, I think it was, I popped into the vets down the road from us. We're not actually registered there because they didn't have space for us at the time. And I didn't have the car. Mum and Dad were away, so I didn't have them to help me go anywhere. So I just popped into the vets and said, look, just after a little bit of advice, my rabbit has stopped eating and I think he's gone into some depression after his mate died, which is just bizarre, isn't it? The fact that they fought so much, but yeah, they did really love each other, really. And so they said, it isn't good news if they've stopped eating, because their digestive system can basically shut down really quickly. So I went and found some dandelion leaves up the road to try and entice them to eat. And I brought him into the house that afternoon, put some water in a bowl for him, and he did lap up quite a lot of that water, and he ate 3 of the dandelion leaves. So I was like, oh, good, this is a turning point. He's eating, he's eating something. So I felt quite confident that hopefully we were going to entice him to eat a little bit more. Hadn't touched his bran still. And then Wednesday night, Simon had him in the house with him whilst I was doing some sewing. And he was in the back room with Simon, just sat there with him. But he was just ever so lethargic and quiet. And then he passed away during the night, which was, again, it wasn't such a shock because of him not eating and things like that. And I am now more aware of the fact that if they don't eat, it is really, really bad. And they just shut down really quickly. So it was just really sad that we lost 2 rabbits within 6 days of each other. So again, the boys were absolutely beside themselves. Then we had to do another burial. But again, Harry was just amazing because he'd passed away in the hutch. And Thomas had gone to let him in the morning to go and get him and bring him into the house. And he came up to me and said, oh, I don't think he's moving. So of course I was like, oh, right, okay. So I came down and I was like, yeah, he's gone. So Thomas, bless him, he's our most sensitive child out of the 3, and so he was really, really upset. Harry was brilliant. He went and got him out and we wrapped him in some hessian, and we then buried him later that day, and Simon put tiles over the top so no foxes could dig them up, and we had another service. So yeah, that's just the really sad news that I felt it necessary to tell you, just because obviously they were such a big part of my videos last year. And I hopefully will have inserted a little bit of footage as I've been speaking, just so you can see them, because they were just such lovely rabbits, and they are really, really missed. And I miss them loads because in the day I was always nipping out to see them, letting them out, feeding them, cleaning them out. They were a big part of my life. And on an evening when I used to do my sewing, back when it was sunny, and the boys, were out playing in the garden with them, and they used to love it, just being around the boys whilst they were playing out there, sniffing around what they were doing. Really sociable rabbits they were. And they used to, especially Radar, used to run in because he knew I was sewing and come in for his little bit of a treat, all the time. He used to like his little bit of carrot, and we never used to give him too much because it can give them the runs and it's not good for them. So it was only small bits that we used to give them. But yeah, really sorely missed. So I just wanted to let you know that. I did advertise it on my Instagram at the time. Yeah, really, really upsetting. So we have left the runs out there and also the hutch, and I've cleaned it all out. I am going to have to disinfect it all, but we are going to be getting some more rabbits, but we've decided to wait until the spring and we have decided to go to a rescue place where they will already have a couple of rabbits bonded, neutered, vaxxed, you know, and all that kind of thing. I mean, when the breeder gave them to us, he said that they'd been vaccinated. Now I'm questioning that as well, you know, like, so we don't know what basically made them pass away. I'm really sorry, this is a lengthy story, but I'm sure that you would have flicked by if you're not interested in this. Yeah, so I just really wanted to let you know about that we're really sad, and hopefully we will get some more next year in the spring when it's warmer. Because we don't want to buy any, you know, get any where they've been inside and then bring them out into the freezing cold where they won't have adjusted to it. So yeah, that is that then. Right, so let me see what the next thing is that I can talk to you about. So I completed the Leicester half marathon at the end of October. It was actually on Halloween, I think. Oh no, it was on the 30th, the day before Halloween. So I did the Leicester half marathon. I've been doing a bit of training. Like I say, I'm not the type of runner that I used to be. I always find it quite a struggle. I can't always keep a good consistency of my running up just because I'm really busy during the evenings with the boys. And obviously sewing is my first hobby. And I just don't seem to be able to get out much. I try and go out in the day sometimes, but I am busy during the week as well, just making sure the house is where it needs to be, and also with the cooking of the tea and, you know, puddings, because my boys like puddings and things like that, and cakes, bits and bobs like that. So I don't have as much time as I used to. So I knew I was going to still find it a struggle. Last year was my slowest time ever that I'd ever ran a half marathon in, so I was a little bit disappointed, but at the end of the day I still ran the same distance as everybody else. But I do have this thing where I compare myself to how I used to be, and I need to not do that, because my body's different to when I was younger. I've had children, so my body shape has changed. I'm heavier, and also as well, I don't run as much. So, you know, I can't hold out for a really good time like I used to. But anyway, I went ahead and did it. It didn't rain this year, thank goodness. So that was really good. And I did it on my own. I didn't run with anybody this year. I do prefer to run on my own because I feel like if I struggle, I don't like to let anybody else down as such. But then on the flip side, if you run with somebody, they might pull you through that bad bit, you know. So anyway, I did it a bit faster than I did it last year. I think I'm not 4 minutes off, which is good in running terms, but still not as quick as I'd like. Yeah, but I did it. I'll insert some photos. I think there's some of me running it, which have got like the watermark across it because I wasn't going to buy the photos, and also some of me at the end. And here is my medal. So Harry's nabbed this one off me. So it's quite a colourful one, and it does say half marathon on it just here, there. Because there was also a 10k as well on the day. So the people that did the 10k, it does actually say 10k on it. So I was quite pleased about that, because in the past, when I've ran the Leicester marathon, the people who did the Leicester half marathon, they got the same medal. And I was like, that's a bit of a swizz, isn't it? I've just ran double the amount and got the same medal, whereas this time it actually tells you which one you did. So yeah, I was really pleased with that. And then we went to the pub afterwards and had a nice glass of red wine. And Simon came down with the boys and they had some crisps and pop. So yeah, that was just really nice to do that afterwards. So I want to say thank you so much to everybody who sponsored me as well, because I was raising money for Loros. And I managed to raise £335 in total, which is over the amount that I was hoping to raise. I was hoping to raise £250, so I'm really glad that I surpassed that. So thank you so much for your generosity in sponsoring me. That really did mean a lot, and it did spur me on getting around that course. It was quite windy on the day. I'd still say that it was pretty good weather though, because it wasn't sunny, it wasn't raining, it was just a bit breezy. So in some areas you were running head on into the wind. But yeah, I do want to do more half marathons. Whether I get any done during the winter period, I don't know, but I do want to do some more, and hopefully not lose the fitness that I've picked up during my training. So I need to get back out there and do more running. Yeah, so I think that is basically everything that I want to talk to you about today. The only other thing that I really wanted to share was that I will be doing Vlogmas this year. However, I'm just going to be doing sort of small snippets every single day. So I don't want to be editing a massive vlog every day, because obviously that's just too much effort. But I have done an advent calendar for myself, which I took inspiration from Claire Who Makes Things, as she did one last year. And I really did like that idea. So throughout the sort of time of this year, I have been buying little bits and bobs as the year's gone along, and I've been wrapping them up. So half of them I can't even remember what I've bought. So it'd be a nice surprise for me to open throughout the month of December. And I also have the Beyond the Pink Door advent calendar as well. Now, I purchased that earlier this year because I had fear of missing out last year when I saw everybody else opening theirs. And decided I wanted to go ahead and get that this year. So the good thing I have to say about Andrea and her calendar is that she set it up that you could do 2 installments of payments for that, and I thought that was a brilliant idea because I don't work, I don't have readily available funds, so for me to be able to separate that cost over two times was great for me. So thank you, Andrea, for that was amazing. It enabled me to get my hands on one, so I'm really, really excited to open that up every day. So I'm going to be sharing the opening of my calendars every day throughout the month of December. And then I'm hoping to include a little bit of sewing every day because I have joined up with the Poppy Treffry Christmas Embroidery Club this year. There's 6 weeks worth of projects, all Christmas themed, but I haven't started any of them yet, and I think we're already on week 5. And I thought, do you know what, I'm just going to save it for Vlogmas, and hopefully I can do a few of those throughout that Advent time where I can share that with you on my Vlogmas. At least I'll be sharing with you some sewing rather than just my boring life, really. So yeah, I hope that you will tune in for that. And I'm excited to watch everybody else who will be doing Vlogmas as well. So I think that brings this video to an end, does it? Oh, one more thing I'm going to share with you, actually. Just something that my neighbour got me out of the blue, which was amazing. Last time I went to the dressmakers ball, so not this year, but the couple of years before, when I made my dress, I borrowed a dressmaker's form off a friend. I don't have one. I've always wanted one, but I was always in an argument with myself as to whether it was necessary for me to have one. Was I going to use it that much? And I just found that for the dressmaker's ball gown that I was doing at the time, it helped me to pin things whilst it was on it and pin the zip in place and just things like that. I just found it easy, but then I never really had a need to use it because I don't think I'd use it for fitting because I feel like our bodies are so different in comparison to a hard form. And I know a lot of people pad them out, don't they, and stuff like that. So I just never really thought it would be worth getting one. It would just be nice to hang the clothes on whilst they're being made, I suppose. That would be a plus side. Anyway, my neighbour who lives a couple of doors down from me, she just randomly messaged me on Facebook out of the blue and said that there was this wire dress mannequin which was going to go in the skip, which was randomly at her daughter's place of work, which is a dog parlour. And I was like, what a random place to have a wire dress form. And I said, yes, don't let it go in the skip, I'll have it. So she brought it round to me and it's really beautiful. So I'll insert a photo of what it looks like. She didn't want anything for it, so she just gifted it to me, as a little present, and just that it was nice that I could give it a home, really. So in the end, I sort of put it in my bedroom and I've put my dressmaker's ball dress on it from this year. And I really like how it looks in the corner of the room. It looks really nice and pretty. It's not like life size, so it's just, I've sort of just pinned, I think I've pegged that dress on it because it doesn't fit properly. But it's just nice, and if you take the dress off it and it's just that pretty wire, I was thinking I could just put some like battery operated little fairy lights on it and that kind of thing in the corner of the room. I thought that would look really nice. So I'm not going to leave my dress on there because I don't want the sunlight to sort of bleach it out. So I'm going to put that away in a one of these dust covers that you can get for suits and things, put it away. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you because that was just a really nice present. So in the future, I may end up getting a proper dress form. I don't know. But for the time being, that will do me. It might just help me to just, pin things on it and stuff like that. But yeah, so I just thought I'd share that with you. Anyway, this vlog has become really, really long. I'm so sorry. But there was just so many things that I wanted to talk to you about, really. So I hope you have stuck around and enjoyed it nonetheless. And I am going to be uploading another video this week, which is all about a Gift to November sewing challenge that is being hosted by Alison from Sew Like Dotty and Adam from Adam Sews. I am taking part in that. I'm really behind. I need to crack on. So I need to get my video uploaded to share my ideas for Christmas makes. Anyway, so I hope you'll tune into that. And there have been so many other people uploading vlogs for that as well. So yeah, do check out that hashtag, A Gift to November. Anyway, I shall leave it here for now. I hope you have enjoyed this video and I shall see you again soon. Take care. Bye.